So I've had multi-platinum records, traveled the world, earned six figures for the last 5 to 6 years now, and have done most things that most guys only dream about doing. But none of it means anything if you're tired and by 3 p.m. you're drinking coffee all day, you're winded just going up the stairs, you can't fit any of your clothes anymore, and overall, you're ashamed of yourself when you look in the mirror and avoid going to pool parties because you don't want to take your shirt off. None of it means anything if you're out of shape and unhealthy. Believe you me. So give me 10 minutes and I'll show you the one thing that changes all of this. What's going on? My name is Ger'rell King and I'm here to help you get fit to play the game of life, because that's exactly what life is. Whether you know it or not, you're playing that game, and the best way for you to win at this game is to be fit in the 5 pillars of success, which are physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So I just finished up a workout, and over the last week I've had many compliments given to me based off of my appearance and my physique. Now I'm not even in the shape that I want to be in, and I've been in better shape than I'm in now. However, I have been actively working out for the past 3 months now, and the results are starting to show, not only for me, but to everyone else around me. So I need you to first understand that fitness is not the end-all be-all. It is the entry to the doorway of success. If you hear a beeping going on, I can't do anything about that. I'm in the gym and their fire alarm battery needs to be replaced. But anywho, fitness is just the doorway into success, because it really transmutes across all platforms and all areas of your life. You being in shape is the game changer for what's going to set you up for success in all areas of your life. You see, most people think about success and they only think about money, but success isn't just money based. It's based on what your goals are and if you're actively taking steps forward to achieve those goals. But every goal that you set for yourself is going to come with challenges. It's going to have its difficulties. It's going to have its obstacles. And when you focus on fitness and get your body right, one of the main things that's going to happen is not only is your body going to transform, but your mind is going to transform. And once your mind begins to transform, your habits are also going to begin to transform. You see, the thing about fitness and exercise is the key thing that I always talk about in most of my videos of what it takes to get you to where you want to be is discipline. Discipline is a man's best friend. It even talks about it in the Bible how important discipline is. You see, discipline puts you in a place where it overrides motivation. It overrides inspiration. It overrides excuses. It overrides laziness, because discipline is what will make you get up and do what needs to be done regardless of whatever else is going on in your life, because you know that you have something to do, and instead of making excuses or letting distractions get in the way of it, you're going to do what needs to be done. And for you to be in shape, that's exactly what's going to be required. You have to cut out food, stop doing things that you would normally do, like stay up later, drink a bunch of beer, eat a bunch of unhealthy foods, or not exercise or get up and go to the gym, or whatever it is. It's going to require sacrifices. That's what it's going to take. But those sacrifices and that discipline is going to start to transmute or spread or find its way over into other parts of your life, so that when it comes to your performance at your job, when things get difficult, because you're used to doing things that are difficult physically, and then in your mind, as you're working out, you're telling yourself, keep going, I can do this. Just one more set, one more rep, get it done, I'm almost there, you're almost there. When you get to a challenge at your job, your mindset will be the same. You'll still be thinking, I can do this, I can get past this. One more set, one more rep, one more hour, one more email. You know what I'm saying? Read one more page, one more underline. Then it's gonna transition into your personal life with your kids. Helping them study. If they do something that, they break something in the house, or, they're having a temper tantrum, or, they go to the bathroom and they miss, the diaper or the toilet. Whatever the struggle is, whatever the pain point is that you're dealing with, in whatever circumstance that you're in, that fitness mindset, that ability to endure something challenging is going to transition and transmute across all parts of your life, and you will be better at performing at all areas of your life. Let alone what it's going to do to your body, what it's going to do to your face and your physique and your confidence, your clothes, your wardrobe. Everything's going to change when your body's in shape. But the most important thing that'll change is your mind, which is everything. The second point that I want to make is most people don't just miraculously end up out of shape. You in particular, if you aren't happy with where you look right now or how you look right now as far as your physique and your shape, if you got a beer belly or a dad bod, or you found yourself kind of getting a double chin, or getting to a point where you just don't look like you used to, understand that it didn't happen overnight. This happened over time, over years and years of not having a system. So it's not like you just let yourself go, because I hear people say that, they let themselves go. It's not that you let yourself go, you just lost your system. You see, at one point you had a system. At one point, exercise and fitness and eating good were part of your everyday routine. It was something that you did routinely. Maybe when you were in high school, you played sports. You had PE in high school, so every day you had at least an hour of some exercise. Maybe you played football, basketball, baseball, lacrosse, soccer, track, whatever it was. And then you also had practice. So you had to, one, do PE at school, but then after school or before school, you still had to go to the gym and work out, hit the weights, and then you had practice. Then you had games and tournaments. So you were always constantly moving around, active, being an active person, having an active lifestyle. Then maybe when you got into college, you started slacking off a little bit. They say people gain the freshman 20, and then you start drinking a lot more, you're partying a lot more, you're studying, you have finals, you're traveling from campus to home for holidays, you spend time with your family, but you're partying now, and you gain weight. And maybe not all of you, maybe you played sports in college. Not everyone has that privilege, but maybe you played sports in college. But eventually you graduate from college, and now you're into the real world as an adult. And here you are now, not as social. All your friends have jobs, they're starting to get married, they're starting to move away, and now you're focused on your career. So now you just work, you're building up your corporate skills, and you're building up your resume. You might even take some additional classes or pursue additional education to get your master's or MBA or doctorate or something like that. But now you're like 24, 25, maybe even pushing close to 27, 28, and even 30. And now fitness is in the back of your mind, especially if you found yourself in a relationship. Maybe in your mid-20s or in college, you met your girlfriend, your fiance, or your wife, you've gotten married, and now you have 1 kid, 2 kids, maybe even 3 kids. So now your time is completely consumed by your family, your job, and your relationship. You don't have that system anymore. Your day is now wake up. If you wake up early before everyone else does, drink coffee, get your kids ready, get them off to school, get yourself ready, and then go to work 9 to 10 hours a day, if not longer than that, up to 12 hours. At some point or another, pick your kids up. If they play sports or have some type of extracurricular activity, take them to where they need to be. Eventually go home, eat dinner, get the kids ready for bed, put them to bed, and then get yourself ready for bed and be right back in bed to do it all over again the next day in the morning. So nowhere in there was there any time for working out. So you lost your system. So it's not like you let yourself go. You just lost sight of what it meant to have a system that allowed you to not only be the dad that you need to be and present in your family's life, but also take care of yourself. Because you as the guy, as the man and the head of the household, you are very important to those kids and to your spouse. So you need to be healthy to take care of them. If you are to be the provider, the protector, let's not get into gender roles. Let's just keep it of what it has been and always has been. If your role is to be the provider and the protector of your children and your family, part of that provision requires you to be healthy, because you need to do that for as long as possible. Believe it or not, for those who have young kids, I've spoken to plenty of older parents, my grandparents and other older parents, and surprised, but you never stop being a parent. You're a parent your whole life. Your kids are always your kids. and you may need to provide for them and help them all the way up until their 30s, 50s. Who knows? You know, they may always need you. So you need to be healthy and present to be able to do that. And the only way that you can do that is by having a system and prioritizing your health rather than continuously kind of focusing on money and education and climbing the corporate ladder only to die young because you didn't prioritize your health. You weren't watching your sugar intake. You weren't watching your cholesterol. You weren't watching your thyroid or your organs. You weren't going to get physicals and checkups because you were just so focused on money and working for your job and your company versus making sure that you yourself were healthy. That makes me think of when I was in college, I did an internship for Northwestern Mutual, and in my training, they asked everybody, what is your biggest asset? What is most people's biggest asset? And everyone would say, oh, their house. You know, oh, your house is like your biggest asset. That's what I even expected my answer to be. But that was the wrong answer. You are your biggest asset. You are what earns and appreciates and generates the most income. You will generate more income than your house appreciates. But the only way that matters is if you continue to stay healthy, because the longer you live, the more income you generate, let alone the more education you pursue and the higher up you go on the corporate ladder. But you are your biggest asset. That means you have to be healthy and you have to prioritize and protect your investment. Your investment is yourself. So the point that I'm making is you didn't let yourself go. You just lost sight of a system, but that can be fixed. So the thing about being a busy dad is when it comes to staying in shape and being fit, it's all about efficiency. You know, you being a full-time working dad, you know, having kids that you have to look after, you don't have a lot of time to waste. So prioritizing fitness is one thing, but you don't need to be in the gym 2 hours, 3 hours a day. You need about 35 minutes to an hour of dedicated, focused, efficient workouts regularly for you to maintain, not only drop weight, get in shape, but then maintain that weight going forward. So as I'm making this video, you can see my workout here. I usually don't do a lot of weights when I exercise. I primarily like to focus on calisthenics, which is body weight, a lot of pull-ups, push-ups, dips, and squats. But I do have a gym where I live, and I have a gym at my office. So to get certain gains or to do certain workouts, I do like to throw in some like curls or tricep pull downs, maybe even some shoulder presses or lateral raises with a dumbbell, just to be able to kind of isolate certain muscles a little more. But overall, I like to prioritize just pure body weight. But if you're just getting started, I want you to just kind of see how simple it is for you to be able to do a workout and it not take that much time. So in this workout that I did today, all I did was the treadmill for 10 minutes, incline at the highest level, which here in this gym, the incline is 15 at a level 2 to 3 speed. I did that for 10 minutes. I burned 100 calories just in those 10 minutes. And that was just my warm up. And then from there, I just did a circuit of workouts. I started with diamond push-ups. I did 40. And then I moved over to curls on the cable machine. And then from there, I moved over to tricep pull downs. And I just did that 4 times. With the diamond push-ups, I did as many as I could. 40 was the max. I've been doing them all week, so I am a little tired. But I aimed to do 200, which I did. So I did 40, 4 sets. And then the last set, I did 30 and then another 10 to make it a solid 200 reps of push-ups, diamond push-ups specifically. And that makes, excluding the 5th set of push-ups, that's 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps, depending on the weight of cable pull-up or cable curls and tricep pull downs. And then after I finished that and I did my final set of push-ups, my diamond push-ups, I jumped back on the treadmill for another 10 minutes and I burned another 100 calories. So that's it. I don't know exactly how much time that was, but it was about 45 minutes to an hour. And you can see some of the workouts here. I'll splice them in just so you can get an idea what that looks like. And I'll continue to do more workout videos, primarily doing calisthenics for those of you who don't have access to a gym. You don't need 2 hours. You don't need a crazy diet or anything like that. You don't need to, go out of your way and not be able to take care of your kids or be present. but this is what it's gonna take. And this will get you right back to the person that you used to be and the person you are deep down inside. So that you don't have to feel insecure. You don't have to feel like, you lost yourself, and you don't need to go through a midlife crisis, and you don't need to settle for being out of shape. Believe you me, life is better on this side of being fit and in shape. The compliments, dressing nice, your clothes fitting better, your spouse being attracted to you and sexually attracted to you. All of these things are great for you, and they'll keep you motivated and inspired to continue to perform. Granted, it's all about discipline, so you don't need the motivation or inspiration because you're self-disciplined. But it always feels good, to get a little extra validation. Your wife flirting with you, giving you signs and winks that she's in the mood, or you being able to keep up with your kids at their soccer practice or their football game, and you can help them train in your job. Your clients, your colleagues, your boss, they'll all be more satisfied with your work performance. All of these things go hand in hand when you're in shape, but it starts today. So if you know that you gained some extra weight and you're not really satisfied with what you look like anymore when you look in the mirror, I completely understand, and that all can be changed. You have to always understand and realize that we're playing a game, and this game requires you to be fit in the 5 pillars of success that I mentioned to you earlier. And one of those pillars is physically, but there's still 4 others. There's spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and financially. But the only way that you can know if you're winning in this game is by knowing what your score is. And that's where you need to start today. So I'll put together a quiz, an assessment, a questionnaire, whatever you want to call it, that'll help you understand what your current score is and where you rank right now in this game of life. So if you want to know what your score is and how you can start making adjustments to where you are so you can know what your weak points are and what your strengths are, click the link in the description box below. Fill out the questions, and I'm going to send you your score and give you a breakdown of all the things that you're struggling with, your weak points and your strengths, and how you can start making changes today so that you can take the lead in this game and start winning. So that's all I have for you today. I'll be back with more videos soon. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, consider subscribing to the channel. That's it. I'll talk to you later. Appreciate you for watching. Peace out.